So you wanna catch some G-Max Pokemon, huh? I don't know. Anyways, today I'm going to tell you how to catch all of the G-Max Pokemon and all of their locations. So a few days ago, Serebii updated their website with with DIN numbers and Pokemon that spawn there, and then they added some photos and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna lie, like, some of those photos are very, very hard to figure out. So today I just wanted to kind of make a different video and to kind of do things in the game so you can kind of understand some sort of location bearing, because when you go to look at the photos, they are a little difficult to find. So I thought this would be an easier and more resourceful way of looking at it. But yeah, not saying that those photos are bad, but some of them are very, very difficult to figure out. I will say a couple things before we get started on this. I'm going to be starting from Hammerlock Hills, okay, and then I'm moving towards down to the bottom of the map. And then also, there are some G-Max forms that are not available right now, such as Melmetal, Toxtricity, and Snorlax. And we don't know when those will be, you know, put out. But I'm hoping soon, because Snorlax looks really sick. And Melmetal looks like it's from War of the Worlds. And yeah, I don't know. Some of them look really, really cool. And I mean, I'm happy with the ones we have now, though. Don't get me wrong. They're really sick. But yeah, so that's something also to keep in mind. Last thing to keep in mind, the G-Max spawns only have a 5% on the rare. Okay, so what that means is just because you know, pop a purple beam of light, okay, so they're only going to pop up in the purple beams, okay, with the clouds, but there's a 5% chance of getting that. So they're still very, 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 very rare. Okay, so keep that in mind. So starting us off, this is actually the Lake of Outrage. Lake of Outrage is most commonly where you're going to find all your dragons. And then as the weather changes, you can also find all your evolutions here as well. But it's a pretty popular spot. This is the G-Max Charizard Den raid. So you can get the G-Max Charizard gift after you've beaten the game. You go into Hop's house, and there's a Pokeball sitting in his room with a Charmander in it from Leon, and it says, here, enjoy this special Charmander. So you can totally do that. I wasn't going to make a separate video for that because I thought that was, you know, pretty self-explanatory. But anyway, so yeah, this is G-Max Charizard. Moving on, we're going to move on towards Giant's Cap, and then basically what we're going to do is from Giant's Cap, we're going to work into Dusty Bowl, and then from there, we're going to go Stony Wilderness, and yeah, so that's how that is. So yeah, we're gonna kind of work our way through here the most efficiently. So if I cut some stuff, I'm sorry. But these are two super important ones. I almost forgot. So this one right here is Drednaw. Okay, so Drednaw can be found right here if you're looking up at Hammerlock. That's the Lake of Outrage, right? So this is where you can find Drednaw after all of the, you know, commons, you know, disappear and you need another Drednaw. That's where you can find Drednaw. Also, this is up here. This is Corviknight. So Corviknight is, you know, obviously one of the other really common ones because of the release of Sword and Shield, and they'll be going for a bit longer. So if you haven't gotten one, they're pretty common, and you'll most likely get a few. I've got like an entire box full of G-Max Pokemon to give away. So yeah, so it's really sick. Yeah, so this is where you can find Corviknight. You're looking down on Dusty Bowl. You can see the Lake of Outrage over there. So that's Mr. Corviknight. You know what I just realized? I had no idea that there was a puddle of water down here by Dusty Bowl. I had no idea. Yeah, completely missed that. Okay, so moving on to Dusty Bowl. So Dusty Bowl actually only has a couple of them. It doesn't have a bunch, but I'll kind of show you where the locations are. But the two important ones from Dusty Bowl are G-Max Grimmsnarl, and you can also get Sandaconda here as well. So this one right here is home to G-Max Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl is probably one of my favorite Gen 8 Pokemon. He is a total monster, gets access to Power Up Punch, Prankster. I mean, you know, Prankster Taunt, T-Wave. It's like such a cool Pokemon. Breaking Spirit, I think, is its new move. Lowers special attack upon hit too, and that's like, that's amazing. So that's a really cool one. So yeah, so that's Gmax Grimmsnarl. Up here on top of the hill, okay, is Sandaconda. Sandaconda is kind of a cool Pokemon. It's got this new ability called Sandspit, which I think is really interesting. It's going to be interesting to see like how it plays. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays in the competitive, because normally you would just want to run Sandstorm yeah. I mean, unless you're like trying to prevent people from hitting you physically, but like, it doesn't really matter, you know? If you're going to be running Sandaconda, I would just run a Sand team. But yeah, so anyways, moving on. That's not important. So this is the Sandaconda raid den. You can see Hammerlock over here. You look down, there's Dusty Bowl. You can kind of see Bridgefield and the Stony Wilderness. So yeah, so that's that. That's where that one is. We're going to kind of move down along here towards the side of the mountain. So this is where the pictures kind of get a little confusing on Serebii. So I don't know if any of you have gone to look on Serebii, but this is where some of them get very, very confusing. So this is where you can find Gmax, I believe it's Machamp and Gmax Gengar. Let me double check that real quick. Oh my gosh, if only this list was longer. Yeah, okay, I'm right. So this is Gmax Machamp and Gmax Gengar. So if you're looking off to the side, you can see Dusty Bowl in front of you, and then the Stony Wilderness is over here. This one was one of the more difficult ones to see. Please don't run into me. I don't have time for you. So yeah, so this is one of the more difficult ones to see in one of the Serebii photos, and that kind of made it a little more difficult to kind of figure out before when I started making this video. I've started making this video like 3 times and realized I have no idea where I'm going. But yeah, so that's that one. So that one's really cool. The only difference though with those, so Gmax Gengar is only available in Shield, and then Gmax Machamp is only available in Sword. So if you don't have the version exclusive, I mean, if you have both copies, you don't have to worry about it. But, you know, definitely, you know, check your Ycom frequently just in case somebody does pick that up. The other one, this one was a pain. So this is still considered a part of Stony Wilderness. Although it looks like it's a part of Stony or Dusty Bowl, this is still considered Stony Wilderness. This is Gmax Centiskorch. So Gmax Centiskorch is obviously super common right now because of the fact that it's promotional alongside Sandaconda. So we've got like 3 different promotionals happening right now for Gmax. There's the Butterfree, okay, which everybody you know, knows about, and then there also is the version exclusive, like more commons, which is the Sword with Drednaw and Shield with Corviknight, and then also there's Sword with Sandaconda, and there's Shield with Centiskorch. So I found so many Centiskorch. I've got like 20 of them to give away, and it's disgusting. So yeah, so you know, if you need a Centiskorch, just pop in stream. I'll hook you up if I have any left. But anyway, so yeah, so this is where you can find Centiskorch after the promotional is done, although you probably don't really care about that currently. The next one there's a couple of them, or actually, is there a couple of them? I only think there's one more in Stony Wilderness, and that's Copperajah. So Copperajah, this is Copperajah's raid den right here. You can, if you're standing up against the bridge, okay, and you can kind of see these 2 stone V pillars. You can see the Dusty Bowl, and then there's Hammerlock. So yeah, so pretty easy to find. That one is not too bad as a find, but yeah, so that's why I'm making this video though, so that you guys can kind of understand a little more of a location bearing as to where to find these. This one over here is the Gmax Orbeetle. Okay, so this is Gmax Orbeetle here. Gmax Orbeetle is really interesting. I think he's a really cool Pokemon. I haven't really used him all too much yet, but I definitely want to try to get maybe a shiny one because he's got a really cool shiny. It's purple, and purple is my favorite color. So yeah, so I'm all about that. So I'm probably going to end up doing one for Gmax Orbeetle here soon. The next one is a cross rolling field, or the bridge field. I'm sorry, this is bridge field, and it's Hatterene. Is it Hatterene? No, this isn't Hatterene. This is Alcremie. So this is Gmax Alcremie. So Gmax Alcremie is found over here on the side of the building, deep buried in this little corner here. Yeah, so kind of difficult to find if you're, you know, looking in the right place. So yeah, so this is Gmax Alcremie. He's tucked behind this corner. Like if you look across the field, you can see the daycare, and there's the bridge. So yeah, pretty easy to find once you point it out, because otherwise it's just kind of gonna hide there the entire time. The next one, however, is a little easier to find. This one is Hatterene. I'm trying to avoid running into Mons. Oh, Claydol, I need that actually. So this one right here is Hatterene. At least so I believe. Let me double check that. Definitely Hatterene. Yeah, so this is where you find Hatterene. Hatterene. I can't remember how to pronounce it, like most of the Pokemon names, to be honest with you. So yeah, so it's up here on the hill next to Motostoke, so you can easily find that if you need to. The next one is actually Gmax. Oh my gosh, am I gonna run into anybody? No? Okay, cool. The next one is actually Gmax Garbodor. So Garbodor is actually probably one of my favorites of the Gmax Pokemon. I just love the idea that he has toys just chilling in its body. And I think poison types are like one of my favorite typing. Gengar is my favorite Pokemon, but I've got a big crush on Coughing. Coughing is one of my favorites. He's on my soundboard. Coughing! Yeah, so I'm a big fan of Coughing. But yeah, so this is where you can find Gmax Garbodor. So yeah, so he's pretty out in the open. If you started playing the game and you noticed that Garbodor that was chilling right there, I don't know, I just thought it was relevant to the topic. So yeah, so that's really cool. Let's work our way over to this over here, and then we're gonna fly back. Actually, we probably don't need to fly back, to be honest with you. But we're gonna work our way over here. So this one over here, I believe, is Duraludon. Eesh. So it's this one right here by the Vikavolt. Give me one sec. Let me double check that. I believe it's Duraludon. Yes. Okay, so I was right. This is Gmax Duraludon. Okay, this is where you find it. It's over here by the bridge in the big mountain that you think a raid den's on top of the mountain, but it's not actually on top of the mountain. It's behind the mountain. You know, that one. So yeah, so this is where you can find Gmax Duraludon. He's a very cool Pokemon. I'm a little disappointed in its Gmax form. It just looks like a big building. If anything, it reminds me of Big. I just recently watched Big for the first time with Tom Hanks, and it reminds me of that toy robot that he's like, I don't get it, you know. And then the dude's just like chilling there with the robot in his hand. Anyways, yeah, that was a stupid reference. So yeah, so that's that. And then this one over here is actually very, very important. So this one is over by the side of the mountain here, and you can see the berry tree, and you can kind of see the bridge and all. But this one is very important because this one is actually Lapras. So this is Gmax Lapras, as well as Coalossal. So you can find Coalossal here as well. So Coalossal you can find in Sword, and then Lapras you can find in Shield. So yeah, so this is a cool one. I'm definitely really trying to get a Lapras. I think it's going to be very good this season. Just like bulky rain hail setup, and especially with the Swift Swim ability Drednaw. Oof. Anyways, I just like thinking of rain teams and weather teams. They're fun. But anyway, so yeah, so that's cool. And then the other one that's over here that's water related is actually Gmax Kingler. Sorry for like coughing in your ear. That was gross. So this is Gmax Kingler here. I actually found one the other day, but it was 4-star. So I don't know if I'm going to actually use it. But yeah, so this is where you can find Gmax Kingler. Very cool Pokemon. I'm a little disappointed. It's a little frail. Yeah, it's a little frail, but it's cool. It's a very cool Pokemon. Yeah, I think it's got a really cool design. I don't know how much it's going to be used, but it's very, very cool. I'm a little bummed because I don't think it's going to live up to Ash's Kingler. I think Ash's Kingler is just going to be super disappointed. The other one that's over here that is going to help out once the promotional ends for Butterfree is this one. So this is Butterfree right here. Butterfree, you may have noticed like there is a Butterfree that kind of like pops up above this. Some of the dens actually have their corresponding spawn next to them, which is a little strange. I don't know if that's like pure coincidence or if it's just like a part of the game. They didn't really plan it. But this is Butterfree. Butterfree is really good. I think he's got a really cool G-Max move, and I'm very interested to see like how broken it actually is, because the fact that you can get status off on one move on multiple Pokemon is just stupid. So yeah, so it's a very, very interesting one. Although it is, it is 4 times weak to rock, so you got to be careful. But it's a very, very cool Pokemon. So the last one that we're going to talk about is actually Flapple and Appletun's Dynamax or G-Max. And it's actually just the same thing. So it's pretty easy to find. From Butterfrees, you're just going to... I mean, if you go to Motostoke, you can get there pretty quickly. I'm sorry if this is kind of dragged on. But this is the last one for the video. But from Motostoke, so if you ride over here towards... Motostoke, it's over there in Dappled Grove. Okay, so you're gonna ride through over here through the ruins, and yeah, it's not too hard to find like the other ones. However, there are 2 that are like right next to each other though, so you can get a little confusing. But it's just over here, so you're gonna ride past all these Ghostlies and Ghastlies and Duskuls and stuff, and then it's just over here. So this is where it is over here. Yeah, and then this is where you'll be able to find... Oh my gosh, Purloin, stop chasing me. Stop this. What? Leave me be. So yeah, and then this is the one for Dapple Grove. So you'll see 2 that are right next to each other, but it's the one on the left. If you're looking at the picture, this is exactly where it is. So yeah, pretty easy to find. But overall, I hope you found this video useful. I know it's kind of easier to find things with a little more of a visual guide and location bearing, so that's why we went ahead and made this. Also, we do have Max Raid Sundays on my Twitch stream. We stream every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday at 4 p.m. CST until... whenever, basically. But Sundays is usually the day that we do like a bunch of max raids. So if you guys want to come out, hang out and get some max raids in, it's twitch.tv/sxperpotion. And other than that, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Okay, bye. Very well.